Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Third Eye Podcast. Welcome to the wavelength. Excuse me. Today, I don't know what we're going to talk about other than the fact that I'm curious as to if what the energetic form that has been described to me by another person can be changed over time, because one way a person has seen me is this a form of energy or light. And they said that I had three faces. And that can be interpreted in a lot of ways. I wonder if I even one time had an experience after that had been described to me where I woke up one morning and leaned in the direction of choosing anger. And when I did that, I had uh, sort of a visual representation in my mind of what kind of looked like. Imagine a silhouette of light instead of darkness, and it was shifting between one mask to another mask. And so to me, I wonder, can I can I possibly turn into the version turn into the, can I stop using masks entirely? Sometimes it definitely, I can realize, I feel it, like I notice it when I'm using something in conversation with whomever that is meant to divert or distract, because I don't want to talk about what is being brought up, perhaps. I met a person recently, and he's very interesting to talk to. Not what I expected. Um, at first, he asked me pancakes or waffles. I said waffles, of course, because I like I like some structure in there. I like the pattern. I like to be able to put some butter across that, some syrup. I also like some crunch. And then another time he asked me if I could make an ice cream flavor. What flavor would I make? And I told him I like savory things that are sweet. I like sweet things that have kind of like watermelon and salt. Although I don't really like watermelon and salt, unfortunately. But things like that kind of flavor, fuck your mind, your fuck. You know what I mean? Um, so I decided I would make an ice cream flavor that would be beef jerky flavored. And so I was like, obviously, this ice cream can't actually taste like beef jerky. If it tasted like beef jerky, people would probably find it. There would be a few that would like it, but most would find it disgusting. You couldn't put it like in an ice cream joint. It wouldn't sell well enough. You couldn't have very much of it at all. So I said it would have to be beef jerky flavored, but it'd have to be kind of like a joke. It'd have to be um, some kind of weird twist of a savory sweet mix, and maybe there could be quote unquote meat bits in it that could be just brown sugar crystals or something like that, sugar crystals. And but it would have to be more like a candy taste and less like an actual, because it doesn't have the texture. That's something me and my fiance talked about. My wife, sorry, talked about. Uh, she bought this Pringle can, and it was like steak and steak and fries, or it was like a burger taste. The Either way, how are you gonna get a chip to taste like that? Well, they made it taste like it. The problem was the texture is that of a chip and not an actual fry with maybe a strip of steak in my mouth. The texture is not there. The mouth feel, none of that's there. You're not convincing me with your Pringles chip that I have steak and fries. So I'm gonna keep. That's why does there have to be so many flavors? Why can't you just make a really good chip with like three ingredients and compete to make the best chip out of the least ingredients? That sounds like a real challenge. I bet you can make it real cheap. I bet you can make it really good. And I bet you can make a lot of it. Well, anyway, we're not in a society that's currently encouraging that kind of behavior, unfortunately. I think we're getting there though. I'm really optimistic. I feel like the next couple years are going to be really, really tight, and good and evil are going to struggle. But I think, you know, I don't think there's going to be like any kind of real end necessarily to this battle of good and evil. I think we're just going to be a part of it for a really long time, maybe. Like, I wonder, excuse me, I wonder exactly just how long this has been going on. Because if we've been an advanced civilization before and we've been hit by some kind of cataclysmic event, and because of that event are dealing with some kind of global amnesia, what was it that we knew before? Is it possible we knew technology using the mind? Is it possible we could use our mind to transmute matter into whatever we wanted and be able to build the pyramids with merely thought? Or if that's the case, why would we be hit by meteors? Why would we go through a younger dryas period? Why would we have a reset? Why would we need to reset? This doesn't mean this is the answer, but I wonder if maybe we needed a reset because there wasn't some kind of moral alignment, Like why can't I can't remember what that theory was. It's that theory where any possible civilization that gets intelligent enough, advanced enough, that pops up is going to get destroyed because of some kind of dangerous theory. So there's that possibility too. If we apparently get advanced enough, we could possibly run into some kind of like almost like a filter. I think it's called the Great Filter, in fact. Yep, there it is. The theory that advanced civilizations tend to be wiped out once they reach a certain level of technology is famously known as the Great Filter. It is one proposed solution to the Fermi paradox, which asks why we have not observed any evidence of extraterrestrial life despite the high probability that it exists. Excuse me. I think I've got some kind of throat situation, but I refuse to postpone this episode. I'll shoot it another time. It's not gonna work. My life does not work that way. If I let it go, I won't end up doing it. So from time to time, you might just have to deal with me having a bit of a weird voice. Maybe I'll put a filter on for that. Do you think that would help? Are you having a problem with how my voice is getting, a little different sounding? Maybe I could do this.
Would that make things any better? No, actually, hearing that, oh my god, hearing that makes my voice sound worse, and it makes me feel like I need to clear my throat even more.
That's not going to work. This one's a little better. Still. Anyway.
Let me just.
Real quick. And things are going to change a lot in the next 5 to 10 years. People are having children in this time too, and A lot of people are opting to homeschool their kids. I think it's a good idea because I mean, your kids are learning literally like every single second that they're growing. I am still learning now, more by choice because you don't have to learn at a certain age, I would say. But still, they're learning by proxy, and they can't help it. So why don't you teach them good stuff all the time? Why do they have to go to a school? You could, at certain ages, man, their attention span is just so short. Why would you need to send them somewhere for 8 hours unless you worked? So things, I guess, at home would have to shift to make that kind of thing possible. Because if you don't have at least one parent at home to do that, and another parent that can go work and bring back the money and the food, then that's kind of a problem right there. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. I'm shooting. See, I don't. Excuse me. I don't force my wife to have a job anymore. In fact, we've had this conversation, and it was a very long conversation about what we wanted from each other as a couple. And one thing that she wanted to do is she wants to be a stay-at-home wife. She wants to take care of the house. She doesn't want to have a job. And well, it's been a while since we talked about it, so that's not all the details. But it's turned out pretty well. She keeps the house clean. When I come home, food is cooking. I smell it in the air. The apartment is cleaned. I don't have to mess with anything here. I don't have to do anything. And all I have to do is go to work and bring the money home. And then we go out together and we choose what we want to eat. We pick the food and we our meal plans, we plan them together. It's a different situation that we've chosen to be on. Only having one source of income is different, but I actually quite like it. Not because I just have everything I need right now, you know? Like I'm pretty content with everything that I have. So I don't have any problems with you know, having less or not being able to have enough. I'm used to not having the greatest internet, so I don't have great internet. And if I wanna play like an online game or something, it kind of runs shitty. You know what I mean? And I also am currently stuck in an internet situation where I like signed a contract to be in it for at least 2 years, unless I want to pay a little bit extra, which I may, because I'm tired of this shit. But regardless, we've chosen a different path, and uh, I think it'll help too once we have kids because I want someone to be home to take care of them. I don't want to send my kids to school. I don't trust school. I never thrived in school. I was horrible in school. I always had bad grades. If I applied myself, I could get good grades, but man, school was not the place for me. It just did not work out. I I felt that social pressure to conform and to act like everybody else, and that's exactly what I did. Totally gave into that impulse, and but I felt it too. And it's weird to think about now because of that intuition, that hindsight. Even when I was a kid, I could see what was going on to some degree. I wasn't like a third eye open the entire time or anything, but or even back then at all. It's just that could kind of tell something was off about all this, but there was nothing I could do about it. Like this was just apparently the way things were, and like it sucked. But to me, I was like, I feel like there's totally a different way to do this, a better way to do this. And every now and then I'd get like evidence or proof of it. Like I'd hear of different school systems, like in the UK or whatever, in other places, just not the UK, but like elsewhere. And like, man, that sounds better. Go home an hour earlier. That sounds better. Like we can't do this a little better. We can't refine this at like, but regardless, it this school system was not for me. Although I like the schools that I came from and kind of like what they stood for, it's just not this current school system is not for me. College is not for me. It's unfortunate because I do want to learn and I am interested in learning, and there's things that I educate myself about. But if I was prompted to do so in a very clever way, that would engage me to do it even more. And as a result, I would learn a lot faster. And well, who wouldn't benefit from that? Who wouldn't benefit from being interested in actually learning the things that they're interested in? I'm interested in a lot of stuff. I'm interested right now in something called mesh static. That is a oh shoot, we're gonna get into that one. What is mesh static? it's um It's an open source project that creates a decentralized off grid mesh network for long range, low power communication using low raw radio technology. It allows devices to send text messages and data without relying on cellular service or Wi Fi, making it useful for remote areas, events, and emergency communication. The network is built using inexpensive hardware that acts as nodes with messaging hopping from one device to another to extend their reach. So imagine for a moment something happens. Let's say you have a particularly bad snowstorm and the power goes out. Uh, if you've looked into mesh static networks, it's not particularly complex. I mean, it can look a little intimidating when you first look into it, but you can buy pre-made kits if you want to. So it doesn't have to be that complicated. But it's worth checking out because it's not that hard to build. And realistically, if you could get a soldering gun, it's not that expensive. I don't relax, calm down. It's not that hard to put this stuff together. And then you make, let's see, let three of them, three handheld devices that can send and receive and is using the same motherboard software components or hardware components, and you snap it all together in these nifty little 3D printed cases that you can buy online, or if you have a 3D printer you can print yourself, and and then you put this stuff together relatively cheap. I'm talking like less than, maybe it was probably like $50 or less, and then for the small stuff. And when you put together a solar node, which is what's going to be the biggest transmission for this, you go put it up somewhere high. You put it in a tree. You put it on top of a mountain. Whatever. The higher, the better. And this is what will receive and transmit your messages. But also, the devices that you give to your loved ones or friends or whoever also have a radius in which they receive and send signal. So it kind of works like a branch. So if you have 8 or 9 of them, and you're all relatively within range of each other, you can spread your signal based off of your friends' locations. And you can put many of these solar nodes up everywhere. And because of their reliance on solar, you can just set them and forget them, and they will run for a very, very long time on low emission batteries. And you can use this in the case of an emergency. If some bad weather hits, and hopefully your solar node doesn't go out, if you put it in a good spot, in a safe spot, and high up, you put them in a weatherproof case, and then when something happens and your cell phones don't work, you can still send and receive messages to your friends and family. Hey, are you okay? That's pretty useful to me, in my opinion. And I'm also a little bit of a nerd about some technologies. Some, like, ever since I've seen little handheld radios, walkie-talkies, you name it, I've always loved them. But this particular technology and the way that you can encase it in plastic looks most entertaining to me. And so give Mesh Static a check. That's MESHSTATIC at meshstatic Anyway, check out Mesh Static because it's pretty cool. And if you're a little bit of a nerd and you want a soldering gun and you want to put together some funky little shit and you want to screw an antenna on top of it and feel kind of badass, and then you want to go out there and you want to zip tie it to a tall tree or a pole or on top of a mountain or whatever you want to do it safely, and then report back, experiment, create create a grid of your own in case something happens to the grid. I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having an emergency network in which you can reach out to people who may even have resources and supplies to help one another. See, like, what's wrong with that? I'm in an area out here on my own, and I am separated from my family. It is most advantageous for me to create a friend network first, people that I know and trust, and then to create a mesh static network that I can then distribute small handheld devices between these people who are all not too far from me, and then go set up maybe 2, 3 solar nodes on high up locations on top of a building. I don't know, whatever you want to do safely, legally, and and then and then if something happens, anything, which your mind can really extend on the possibilities on that. A lot can happen in the next 5 to 10 years. We might want to be able to reach out to one another, and I don't think these phones, you know, I don't think they're going to be the technology that are going to save us and keep us together forever. I think that one of the best things we could possibly do is continue advancing technology like we're doing, but make a lot of it open source. That's going to cause problems, sure, but we've got to have open source solutions too. And I'm talking real open. We got to have open mind solutions. And open mind and open source. We are matter and we matter. And we've got to entrain that into the following generations. There are some people out there that kind of have that as the hardwired default for themselves. They just believe humans are good, that people are good, that the best solution is to love them no matter what, because they don't even know what they're doing or why they're here or what's going on. I jive with that. I vibe with that. I like that very much. I One of the best things we can do is just care about people even when they're trying to hurt us, because I know it doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but hurt people, and sometimes they take it way too far, but hurting them back is not the answer, unfortunately. You can't decide to strike back. You can't get mad. You can't get vengeful. There is another solution. You can be kind to them. And man, that person as your friend is way more valuable than that person as your enemy, because there's something special in all of us. And if you bring that out of everyone, the world can be heaven on earth. And that's really important. That's probably most important. If we could find ways to accept one another and be kind to one another, and even to those who have done the worst and have brought the worst out of humanity and represent the worst, if there are ways that we could contemplate and open source the solution to healing those people and bringing them along with us in the transformation into the next life, into the next heaven on earth, into the next atlas, the next whatever you want to call it, utopia. We've got to try and bring people with us and not come from a place of deteriorating and eliminating and disintegrating humanity. We need humans. We need humanity. We need living people. We need beating hearts. We need life force. We need energy flowing out of all of us. We need passion. We need compassion. We need empathy. We need we need to be angry every now and then, but for all the good reasons, all the right reasons. We need that's passion, that ferocious love for what you're doing or who you care about or the community you're trying to be involved in. That's important, and that comes from all of us. And when we pervert that or distort it, that's when people feel the need to, I guess, cause harm. So we need to unpervert and undistort it. So what does that mean? We need to start unveiling the truth. See, I think maybe that's what I've lately discovered I'm trying to do here. All I'm trying to do is talk about truth. Oh, true things are so much fun. Like, what if the alien thing is true? Like, I think aliens true. Aliens are so true, man. Aliens are true as fuck. We're an alien. That's true. How could you not believe we're an alien? I mean, so many of us are so entirely different. It's so weird. Have you ever gone people watching? People watching can be pretty exciting because like people are so strange. People are strange. And it's even funnier that they'll look at me while I'm watching them. Be like, why is that guy staring at us? People are strange. That's including me. And I'm sitting here watching you do your thing in the park. Whether it's feeding pigeons, or walking your dog, or picking up another person's dog shit while you're getting kind of irritated. You're like, motherfucker didn't pick up his dog shit. Well, people strange when you're a stranger. I don't know. Anyway, you get to choose the kind of human that you want to be, though. We're a human here on this one. Um, whatever a human is. I think we're just now beginning to learn what's possible from a human perspective. If you believe all of the Buddhist literature, there is, in fact, I guess you could call it, they don't want to call it, supernatural abilities that you can have. And one is like imagine being able to cook without fire. You don't need a stovetop, and you don't need flame, and you don't need heat to cook your food. What is going on there? What kind of control over reality do you have? And I was listening to another podcast the other day. It was the telepathy tapes. People who are listening to this podcast, if you haven't heard of the telepathy tapes, go check those out. You'll find that far more interesting than this. But realistically, imagine what all you could control with your mind. Imagine if you could control it all. So one thing that I'm trying to exercise a little bit is my control, or my not necessarily my control, my inner my reach necessarily. I'm trying to see how far my reach goes. So I will extend out into the universe. What's the word I'm looking for here? I will extend out into the universe like extensions of will, and I will try to enact certain things on onto my environment before I get to them. Like let's say this easiest example is I hope my favorite parking space is open. I take it a step further, and I imagine in my mind that the parking space is open, that I'm going to pull in there, and that my van. Oh shoot. Anyway, um, you felt it too, haven't you? The eerie call of the ether. What has he done? What's happening? What's going on? Where are we? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so. There's a deep echo in here. Oh jeez. Oh, I know what to do. My sensei, he taught me what to do here. Yes, I remember now. Calm down. Breathe. Ah. I'm back again. Welcome back. What happened? Where'd we go? We're in a new place now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is just no different than the Men in Black flash in your face. Here we are. A new realm. So, I wonder, let's get really weird. What if the stuff that's in your contact solution is bad for your eyes? Are you sure? Let me guess, you asked your doctor. They said it's good for your eyes. It's good. We're good, guys. It's hydrating. What if it's not? What if it's making your eyes malleable and it's changing your eye shape and it's making your eyes worse? And I bet you trust them, don't you? I don't know if you should do that, but should you not trust them? Not trusting doctors leads a lot of people to not get treated when they really should. I know a guy who broke his leg and he didn't go to a doctor because he didn't trust doctors. If I broke a bone, I'd go to the doctor. That's probably the option. Yeah. I'd go to a doctor if I broke my bones. I don't think that I should go to a doctor about how, depending on what's going on, I don't know if I should go to a doctor about how I feel necessarily emotionally. It just really depends. There's a lot of options for how you can solve that. We're not teaching them, we're not proliferating them. I know, leave me alone. Come on. We're getting there. Build your mesh static network now. 1-800, not sponsored, on Third Eye Radio. What are you doing here? You're in a different reality right now, listening to me, inhabiting a different plane of existence. If you're doing something important, or if you're doing a job, whatever you're doing, you're taking in this weird stream, this flow of information, and you're doing it for a reason. If you've come back in time to see this point, or forward in time, even, perhaps you've skipped around. Who is this person? What is he talking about? What is he here to do? I'm trying to figure that out myself. It's kind of fun. You should do that for yourself, too, if you're not doing that. I'm here to remind you what it looks like along the path, the cringy, awful path of self-discovery. Kind of. It's like an implosion and an explosion all at once. How transcendent. How profound. Oh my goodness. He's so amazing. See, if I wrote a script, I'd be trying too hard. What? Is there a podcast out there where people write a script? I bet there is. Surely. Yeah, no, there can't not be. Otherwise, talking into the void like this, it doesn't attract anybody. I get it. Like, it wouldn't, I don't see how this is going to attract anybody. It's not supposed to. It's for my sake. I like to listen to it right after I tape it and then hear my thoughts and be like, I actually have quite a good time re-listening to it. I'll laugh along, think, wow, that's what I said. Because, like, it's so off the cuff, on the fly, in the moment, that I'm just saying whatever I want to say. It's a shame I can't do this in the busiest hours of the day because my best ideas are coming to me when I'm not available, when I'm not able to do this. But to try and rehearse them here back into a mic seems like a feeble exercise. However, here we are, feebly exercising. Better than doing nothing. You've got to do something. You've got to try. You've got to put yourself out there. You have to make an attempt. You have to try and to make your mark on this world. But why? Why are you supposed to do that? Why are you here listening to this podcast? Why? Is there something? There is something for you to gain out of this. You might wait long enough and find that diamond in all of the shit. That's what I'm here to do. I'm sifting right now. Sifting layers of my soul off my body. Trying to find what's important. Trying to orient my life in a way that produces the things that I want and the things that would be good for the world that I'm a part of. I like playing video games. I like separating from reality every now and then too. That's fun. I was playing Days Gone the other day, repairing this motorcycle, driving around, killing zombies. Why can't we do some of that too? I don't want an apocalypse to happen or anything like that, but I want to be able to drive around and kill a zombie if I want to do that. Damn it. And there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I love The Last of Us. It is my favorite video game of all time. And it will always remain at the top. Part 2 was fantastic. I loved it. The series that's come out on HBO, it's good. I actually haven't finished it, but if that tells you anything, I have my critiques, but you know, I I played video games and play video games, and the first game attached in a way that I can't fully describe. It's one of those things that I explained in another episode where it's like the universe pokes through the tapestry of what's going on in your life, and it uses certain things, it highlights them, and it makes them more extra relevant to you. More emphasis is put on them, so that way you can look at it and really ponder on it for the rest of your life. What does that mean to me? Why does it mean to me? Like I don't know why The Last of Us necessarily means so much to me. It definitely blew my expectations out of the water. I just wanted another zombie game. I was like, stealth, zombie game, creepy ass shit, horror. Fuck yeah, that sounds fucking amazing. Let's go. Fucking the shit. So, and then it hits me with this really hard storyline that made me cry like 3 times before I even beat it. I played it on the hardest mode and I beat it in like 2 days. It was like when I was like 16, 17, I don't remember. It was like somewhere in that era. I was a teenager and I just remember beating it super fast, at least 2 days. And I crunched it, came home from school and crunched it every single day and then beat it. And it just, the storyline as a young child absolutely shattered my reality and soul. And I was actually depressed for a while after that. I know, shocker. I was weak. Weak? No, it was important to me. I wanted to play a good game, a fun game, and it was beyond that. It was amazing. It was an amazing game. And then the storyline on top of that did something really special. It got me attached to characters that experienced certain traumas and behaved in certain ways that I could relate to in some weird ways. Not like directly, like as if I had the same experience, but in certain emotional instances, I could really tune in with the emotion being portrayed at certain points, like we all do in certain forms of media or music or whatever you want to call it, movies. And so I identify with The Last of Us a lot. And part two was, ooh, that murderous rampage. I dig that shit. That was so much fun. Both sides. It's funny how much I enjoyed Ellie as a character, both first game and second game, but I also enjoyed the shit out of Abby. And now let me tell you why. The bad guy? Oh yeah, of course, some people would come around to like the person who's supposed to be the bad guy, even though it was Ellie who, not Ellie, but Joel who, no, spoilers, guys, if you haven't heard this or seen this, spoilers. So Joel kills everybody and happens to kill Abby's father, who happens to be the surgeon that's going to work on Ellie. And then, okay, oh shit! Now Abby is coming back for vengeance, and she kills Joel. And then now Ellie is coming back for vengeance, and she kills all of Abby's friends. Anyway, there's a part where you get to play as Abby for the last half of the game, roughly. And I enjoyed the shit out of that because she had lots of muscle, and she would just crush zombies. She would just manhandle them, and it was amazing. I loved. If I go back and like replay for replayability, I enjoy the shit out of Ellie. I love it. Always gonna replay it. I'm not gonna skip over it, but I relish the Abby part where I get to just stomp heads, just elbow the shit, just fuck them up. Oh, I love that military style, and I love how she's just an ox. She's just built for crushing. It's like, and then in the HBO series, nope, nope, not at all. Nothing like that. She's not buff at all. Damn it. Why'd they do that? Yeah, I know. I guess I like to see some buff, some bulk. I don't care. I like to see it on a woman. Let's talk. Let's talk shop. I want to see some bulk. I want to see some goddamn nuts, goddamn. Anyway, now's a good moment to find a moment of silence. Dead air on the radio. Think about what you're doing today. Has it fulfilled you in any way? This podcast has fulfilled me. Even though I really just showed up today and didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. And you came to listen, and I didn't do anything for you. Maybe not really significantly, or maybe I did. But you came to listen, and so did I. Nice. Good shit. Another Tuesday down the drain. Another day gone. Another week gone by. We are sailing into the future, ladies and gentlemen. Sail with me into the future. On the vibration. On the wavelength of love and caring about your friends and family and wanting to lift everybody up and having a good time on this planet and fixing things, fixing problems. It's a short one because my voice is fucked up. So I'm sorry. But, you know, when they get really long, people have a hard time sticking around for that too. I'll get longer though. Don't worry. Only was for friends, really. The short ones. It's like a logbook. Keep a little logbook for myself. You did good. You did good. I know you're watching me, yourself, in the future, in the past. I know there's spiritual beings watching too. I'm sure of that. I've had trips, and they've told me that I am being watched. That they are watching me. That I am funny, and that they just enjoy watching me. So even if I'm the only one that watches this physically, I know, I know that there is energetic forces paying attention right now, and they're watching too. And he's like, he, she, it, they, whatever vibration, they're all checking it out, and they're like, yeah, he's talking about it. He's talking about it. Good for him. He did it. Join me next week, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this calmer one. Slightly slower pace, maybe. Kept it nice and easy, I think. Or did I? I'll see you all next week. Bye. Catch you later. Bye. See ya. Seriously. Bye. See you later. Guy. Gone. We're out of here. Bye. No, I'm serious. We're leaving. You're leaving. Get out of here. Alright. I'm sending you with my vibrations. Oh.